Are you really excited about Lorcana dropping, but you have no idea how to play? Oh, good. Me too. But that's why we made this video. I got a chance to sit down with head gaming buyer Joe Sweeney-Steet, the only person that I thought would be appropriate to help us get to learn this game. So guess what? Sit tight, grab some pen and paper, take some notes. Here is a how-to on how to play Lorcana. Now we will be giving away these decks at the end of the video. Tune in to find out how. Or stay tuned to find out how. All right. So something I noticed here too. So we got the booster pack. We'll put that to the center here. We'll leave those. Right off the bat, immediately though, I noticed these. What am I seeing here that's kind of the pop out?
All right, so
these
are, so the -1s and -3s are damage counters.
Okay.
Character cards have a toughness over here. Willpower is their term. It's the number to the right inside of the shield rather than inside of the circle. The circle is how much damage they deal when they challenge. And the willpower is how much damage they can take before they are banished.
So right here, when you mentioned this 4 in the corner, is that what you were talking about there?
That's the ink cost up there.
So that's the ink cost.
Yeah, it costs you 4 of any kind of ink. And then that sort of brownish design around it means you can play the card as an ink. If you scroll, we're going to find
just kind of thumb through.
Yeah, we're going to find a card that doesn't, so here. So this card, as you can see, doesn't have it. So this card, you can only play it. You can't turn it into ink by not playing it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, now, did I notice you were kind of folding out? Is that the playmat there?
Kind of. It's the same front and back, so it doesn't get any bigger than this, but you've got your deck, your discard pile, your cards in play, and your inkwell. And then this lore counter thing, that's how you win the game, is by getting to 20 lore. You can also lose the game by not having any cards left in your deck and trying to draw from it, which would come up in, usually if you lose the game, I win the game. But you can play this with multiple people, like a 4-player game.
Really?
Yeah, and because you generate your own lore, and you challenge whichever characters you want to. So it doesn't really turn into a weird thing where it's, how are you, you gotta take out this person and that person. You just have to win. But, any person could run out of cards and then they lose and then the game keeps going without them.
Interesting. Okay, so it's kind of a process of elimination.
Yeah.
All right, so we're taking out the damage counters right now, and then I figured you could kind of run us through, maybe we'll do a round or two.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a 60-card deck. The way you start the game is you shuffle up and you draw 7 cards. And you are able to take however many of those cards you want and put them on the bottom of your deck and draw to replace them back up to 7. But that's all you get to do. Once you've done that, that's your hand. You're stuck with it.
That's it, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
And then you shuffle the deck after you've put those cards on the bottom and gotten your replacements.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so it does have to start with a shuffle.
Yeah.
All right. I don't do the Vegas shuffle. I do the old school shuffle here. See, I literally cannot do that, Joe.
Yeah, I was a pretty serious poker player for a couple of years, so you learn.
And then you turn that into play Magic and,
So surprising amount of overlap between competitive card players and poker players.
I believe it. I actually believe that. All right, I'll give it a few more here.
Yeah, theoretically,
I did a terrible job. People are going to roast me in the comments for that one, but all right.
I mean, you need 7 of this kind of shuffle to get to random. You need like 30 of that kind of shuffle to get to random.
Yeah, you're right.
But it's okay, because we're just trying to demonstrate the mechanics and teach you them. So it doesn't matter if this is like strategically not super fair.
No, so this is kind of like a what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
Basically. All right. So I think I got my deck ready. So we got our deck spot up here. And then of course, can I just draw 7 from the top? I'm assuming that's the way to go.
Yep.
Put my little war counter here. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, it's been a while, so you can tell I'm refreshing my mind here. All right, so I mean, we might as well show each other our hands, right, for what we're doing here, trying to accomplish. Yeah. All right, so I've got Prince Eric, Maui, Kristoff, Beast, another Beast, and Goons. So what do you got over here?
I got a Peter Pan, an Aladdin. I got a Dragonfire, a Stolen Scimitar, a Vicious Betrayal, which is a fantastic scene to have a card of. Mickey Mouse Steamboat Pilot, which is the old Steamboat
Willie, yeah.
Yeah, and the Duke of Wesselton, which is a fantastic little callback that they did between Frozen and Zootopia, where he gets called Weaselton, and he's like, it's Wesselton, and then the weasel gets called Wesselton, he's like, it's Weaselton.
Of course. All right, okay, all right, so we've got our hand here, we've got our 7 cards. Now, where do we go from here, obviously?
So this turns into like a little bit of strategy, so like I'm gonna separate this out by ink cost. So I've got like 2 1s, a 2, a couple 3s, and then a 5. And so I'm gonna see, like, do I not need any of this and maybe I could get something better? But also all of these could be played as ink, so I don't really need to get rid of any of these because I do need to make some ink. So even though I might not need this Vicious Betrayal, I can play it as an ink, so that's perfectly fine. And this Dragonfire is a pretty good effect, even though I can't play it as an ink. So I actually think I'm going to just stick with this hand, because everything that's bad turns into ink, and that's fine.
So what you're saying here is if there's anything I wanted to discard, I could discard into the discard pile, but then this would just be my hand.
Yeah.
I couldn't draw 2. Say I discarded 2, I can't draw 2 more to make it back to 7.
No, you do.
Okay.
Yeah, like anything that you want to get rid of, you do draw cards to replace, but you're then stuck with it. And you're more or less stuck with it now. So the relevance would be if your hand was, for example, 7 things that cost 5 or more, you're going to just be stuck not doing anything for the first 4 turns.
Okay, all right. And you know what? You're doing a lot of talk about ink. So I'm just curious, what does ink represent in this game?
So ink is the resource in the game. So for example, this Aladdin costs 3 ink, this Dragonfire costs 5 ink. You get to play 1 ink per turn by taking one of the cards in your hand that has the extra stuff around the ink cost, and then you just play it face down in your ink pile after showing it to your opponent so that they know you're not cheating.
Okay. Yeah, transparency is key here. Yeah. So the other cards that don't have this type of ring around the ink cost, what do they play in the game? What kind of role? Like, what are we using those for?
Yeah. So actually, I do have all 3 kinds of cards in my hand, so I can actually show you all of this. So you've got characters, which there's heroes and there's villains. I don't have any villains, but I do have a villain. Yeah. So there's heroes and villains and stuff like that. There's different things that we'll care about. Some of the words that are written on them, whether it's Storyborn or Dreamborn or Floodborn. Those are all different things that you don't actually need to know what those mean.
Yeah.
The meaning is this from a movie? Is this from like more or less a fan fiction? Or is this from like, an interesting alternate take on it? Which is not substantially different than a fan fiction. But, so you have characters, and they stay in play and they do stuff. Then you also have items, which these stay in play and they do stuff. And then you also have actions, which these do a thing and then they go away. So the action will just do a thing and then
go, and then that's it.
This is a one-shot effect. Items keep doing their thing, though, over the course of time.
So for me, I literally have all characters. So I should probably discard at least a couple here and see if I can gain some actions or some items.
Yeah, I don't know if you need 2 of the same beast.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
All right, so why don't I take Prince Eric, 1 of Prince Eric, and I'll take 1 of the beasts, and I'll put them in my discard pile. And then I'll draw 2 more. Let's see what I get. Oh, I got another Goon, and I got a Captain Hook.
Ooh, Captain Hook.
All right, so still all characters here. Oh, props. Ah, yes. All right, going back to my roots here. I got the Captain Hook. Yeah, I'll keep the hook in the back there. All right, so now I'm stuck with it.
Yep.
That's it.
But also, you take those 2 cards that you just discarded, they actually go back into the deck and you shuffle.
Okay, so now I can shuffle again.
Yeah. So you're not. It's not like the cards go away permanently.
So they just get put in back into the bottom, or just kind of wherever.
No, you just shuffle the whole deck.
Okay.
Feel free to just leave them on the bottom. It's probably fine enough for these purposes. But for proper tournament play, be sure to actually shuffle them.
Yeah, let's make sure you actively shuffle. See, I gotta I'm trying not to peek, and I'm just trying to get some other stuff on top besides characters. I need some items, or I need some actions here. All right, let's see how I did there. Hopefully I did something. Hopefully I did something good. Okay, so let's start to play. Let's do a round or two.
So,
and what I know you spoke on it quickly earlier, but what are the things that you can kind of accomplish in one turn?
All right. So the turn starts with what's called the ready, set, draw, which is ready is anything that is exerted, unexerts. So, for example, like let's say this is an ink, and I used it to play this last turn.
Okay.
So at the start of my turn, I unexert and make everything ready, so I can spend my ink again on the next turn.
Okay.
If let's say this was tapped for whatever reason, exerted for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It untap. It readies.
Now, but wait, I think that's a good point that you make there, though, because you said, for the TCG players out there that want to play this, it does have some parallels, does it not?
Yeah, you can draw some pretty good parallels to this in Hearthstone, Pokemon, Magic, even Marvel Snap for those of you that are mobile gaming right now. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's pretty similar, because also you draw a card for turn in the draw thing. We don't have any cards that that do something right now, but there is the set part between ready, set, and draw, where maybe a card will have an effect that you care about and you have to acknowledge and deal with before you draw, but after you've readied all your characters. Then after you've got your characters through their ready, set, and draw, then you're into your main phase. And you can do all the things in your main phase, however many times the cards will allow you to, in whatever order. So let's say I have, all sorts of stuff up. I've got, 3 things. I've got, all these cards in hand. I can play an action. I can play an item. I can use an item. I can quest with a character.
Okay.
I can challenge with a character. Or if they have an ability that requires them to exert themselves to use the ability, I can exert them to use that ability.
Okay.
And then on my next turn, when I ready them, they all get back to ready.
So, real quick, before we actually play through a hand, you said quest and you said challenge. So could you just briefly take us through both of those things that you can accomplish on the turn?
Yeah. So questing is how you gain lore. So the number of these little diamond symbols in the sort of bottom right corner of the card.
Yeah.
You can exert a character that you've controlled since your last turn. So you started this turn with this card already in your control. You can exert one to gain that much lore. So they'll range from 1 to, I think, 4 is the highest. Maybe there's a 5 that I'm not thinking of.
Okay.
And you'll gain that lore. You're trying to get to 20 lore.
Mm-hmm.
When an opposing character is exerted, you're able to challenge them, which is where this exerts, and then they sort of enter combat with each other. This one's going to deal, so for example, Peter Pan deals 3 damage and can take 2. Aladdin deals 2 and can take 2. So what'll happen is they'll both deal damage to each other and they'll both get banished.
Okay.
Because even though 3 is more than 2, once it's more than 2, it doesn't really matter.
Sure. All right. So let's go through it then. I'll let you go first, and then I'll kind of follow your lead here.
I'll go first. You don't draw if it is the first turn of the first player.
Okay, so maybe we'll do 2 rounds then, just to kind of show people how.
So I'm not going to draw. I am going to. Let's see here. I'm going to play this as an ink, and I'm going to exert my ink to play the Duke of Wesselton, who's just a pretty much vanilla 2/2 that can quest for 1. Doesn't have any abilities.
All right. Okay, so if I'm following this correctly, I can also play.
Well, don't forget to draw for turn.
Oh,
maybe you draw something that you want to play.
Okay.
Or maybe you draw something really bad that you want to turn into.
Ah, okay. So I want to show this off. So I got an action here.
Yeah.
So fire the cannons. So now we've talked about it. So this one is just you play it, Whatever happens, happens. But in order to activate that, do I have to activate ink to play that?
So it still has a cost in the top left corner of 1.
So it would be 1 ink.
Yeah, so you would play whatever card face down as in your inkwell to make an ink, and then you would exert that ink to cast that.
Okay, good to know. All right, but I think I'm gonna follow your lead just to be safe here, and I think I wanna I'm gonna play 1 ink here. I'm gonna use my ink. I'm gonna exert it, if you will, so that way I can play Captain Hook.
Yep.
All right.
All right. So then my turn. I'm gonna ready.
You're gonna ready him back up.
Yep.
Okay.
Nothing that cares about being set. And I'm gonna draw. Drew another Dragon Fire. Let's see here.
Oh, he's already thinking hard.
Yeah.
The strategy is the wheels are already turning.
I'm gonna play.
Uh-oh. The suspense is killing me.
Yeah, I'm gonna just play an ink and I'm gonna quest.
And you're gonna go quest.
Yep. So I go up to 1 lore, and I'm not gonna play anything.
Okay.
And you can go.
So let's say I do this then. So I ready up.
Yep.
So let's just, for the folks at home, let's say I ready up, everything's good. So I'm gonna exert this again, and I'm gonna play Fire the Cannons. Now this one here says deal 2 damage to the chosen character.
Yeah.
So I can deal 2 damage to
The Duke of Wesselton.
the Duke of Wesselton right now.
Yep. He takes 2. He only has 2 willpower, so he discards.
So he is discarded. Okay,
Yep.
so now this goes to my discard pile.
Yep. Don't forget to draw. I think you forgot to draw.
Did I? No, I did. You're right.
Yeah. You can also play a second ink. You get to play, an ink.
So I
per turn.
can play an ink per turn.
Yeah, it's 1 ink per turn.
I can still do that no matter what I just did.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say okay, so then I'm gonna play another ink here, and I will send it back to you.
All right. Ready, set, draw.
Draw.
Let's see here.
We'll just do 1 or 2 more just to get the point across here.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna play a 3rd ink. I'm gonna exert all 3 of them to play Mickey Mouse Steamboat Pilot.
Awesome.
He's a 3/4.
Okay.
And then you can go ahead.
All right. So now I gotta ready up.
Yep.
I'm gonna draw.
Yep.
Ooh. Okay, here. So I'm going to play another ink, and then now I cannot challenge if he's not exerted. Correct.
Correct.
So he's kind of almost at like in a defense in a way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, he's too ready to be challenged. You have to have somebody who's a little tired.
Now, if I had a action person or an item or an action, even if he's ready, I can't necessarily play the item and send it toward him?
Well, it would depend. So, like, for example, if you have another Fire the Cannons, you can do it because it just says chosen character. It doesn't say chosen exerted character or something like that.
Okay.
So you could still, fire the cannons at him if you've got something, an item that, says, like, so characters need to be under your control since the previous turn in order to exert themselves, but items can exert immediately.
Okay.
So if you have an item that says exert, deal 2 damage, for example, you could play that and exert it immediately.
Interesting. Okay. I think for the sake of time and just to show people what you can do is, so you have one character out, your ink is tapped and it is exerted. So I'm going to exert my ink and I am going to play Kristoff.
Okay.
So Kristoff becomes the 2nd player in the game.
Yep.
And I believe that I did draw. So I obviously have, now after playing him, can I exert Hook to draw some lore?
Not to draw, but you can exert for a lore.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
So I know I did read up that I know like after playing Kristoff, I cannot use him this turn.
Yeah.
He has to be used next turn.
Yeah. There is an ability on some cards called Rush that lets them exert to challenge immediately, but they can't exert to quest immediately.
Okay. All right. So you know what? In the closing moment, what I'm going to do here is just show once again. So I'll exert my Captain Hook, and I'm going to quest for one lore.
Yep.
So there it is. As simple as that. Thank you so much to Joe for spending time with us. And hopefully he answered a lot of the questions that you guys had about Lorcana. I know he did for me. If not, not a problem. Any questions that you do have for Joe, just drop them in the comments below. He'll be happy to help out, just like he helped me out. All right? And oh, I may have said it in the video earlier, but I want to remind you guys, I want to go back to it. Those decks that Joe and I were using to play, we're giving them away. That's right, David Adams community. All you have to do, literally, go in the comments and just let me know what excited you about Lorcana like it excited me. That's all. So guess what? Take the time, watch, take some notes. Hopefully you learned something. And until next time, collectors, collect responsibly.